Ram, would you like to say what tech stack you work on? What
Yeah.
was the cutoff for ServiceNow? What kind of questions were asked during your coding round and interviews? What do you think was more focused in managerial round, your
Yeah.
logical thinking, analytical skills? How did you prepare for your interview and did you make any mistakes during your interns? Hi guys, myself Bharath Chaudhary, software developer at Oracle, and today we have Ram Prabodh with us. He's my best friend, and we did a lot of fun in college. And he's software developer engineering too in ServiceNow. So, Ram, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey Bharat, good to be talking to you again. I know like we had a lot of good times in college. So about me, I'm a software developer at ServiceNow. I have been at this company for last 1.5 year. I joined ServiceNow straight out of college.
I think it was maybe a few days here and there we got placed at the same time, right?
Yeah, it was almost same time. I think, but only difference was like yours was on hold for some time, right? So then
Yeah.
officially it was like somewhat gap, but in actuality it was like just 1-2 days of difference.
Ram, would you like to say what tech stack you work on and what your team does and all in
Okay,
ServiceNow?
so at ServiceNow, I'm part of a team called CSM Platform. We own three products mainly, but the major two ones are recommended actions and guided decisions. Our team entirely works on only these two
Mhm.
products. We do complete end-to-end development of these two
Mhm.
products. So whether it be front end, whether it be APIs or back end, anything, we do all regarding these two products.
So could you say what this recommendation action does little bit so that we get idea?
Yes, yeah, so I'll tell you. So recommended actions is basically, as the name specifies, it recommends some actions to the agent. So it makes the agent's life
Mhm.
easier. Before recommended actions, the agent has to figure out his own solution, right? He has to do some research and find the solution for that problem.
So Ram, can you say what ServiceNow does and what product or services it provides?
Okay, so first let me start with what ServiceNow
Mhm.
does. So, as the user might know already, ServiceNow is a SaaS company, so it provides a software as a
Mhm.
service. Like we have this thing called Now Platform, which has multiple services like IT service management, IT operations
Mhm.
management, customer service
Mhm.
management. Like customer service management is like creating
Mhm.
cases. IT service management is like PR base
Mhm.
and all, and we also have knowledge
Mhm.
management. So we also have this capability where you can create applications with low
Mhm.
code or no code. So basically it's a platform, so it's kind of a base where your enterprise or application can come on top of it and makes things easier, the work easier.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, regarding the skills required to join ServiceNow,
Mhm.
the most of the work that happens in ServiceNow is JavaScript specific. So it's obviously
Mhm.
expected that you have JavaScript, at least some idea about JavaScript for fresh, entry level roles, and
Mhm.
you also need to have an idea of OOP principles like Java or object oriented principles, and if you exclude entry level roles, like it is expected that you have good design skills.
But generally for SD1 they
Yeah.
don't ask questions on system design, right? It is for SD2 mostly.
Uh, so it's not
Mhm.
asked for SD1. SD1 like is mostly out of college. Most of the SD1s they are hired are out of college, and for those people they don't ask SD1. They ask mostly DSA related questions
Mhm.
like problem solving skills.
Okay. So Ram,
Yeah.
what was the cutoff for ServiceNow when it came to a campus?
So when I was in college, the cutoff CGPA for ServiceNow was 7 CGPA. But this is keeping in specific that I
Mhm.
am from NIT Varangal, and our college has relative grading.
Yeah.
If you see other colleges, they don't have relative grading, right? So
Okay.
there the cutoff I don't think will be 7.
Most of the company we saw had
Yeah.
7 CGPA cutoff, right? And few of them had 7.5.
Yeah, most of the companies they went in around 7. Yeah, some like if you see like local state MCET
Mhm.
colleges which have absolute grading, like for some companies the cutoff is 8.
Okay.
Yeah, but like one thing you need to know is like if you're average student in terms of marks, you'll still be
Able
eligible
to
for
write exam. Yeah.
online test of service now.
What kind of questions were asked during your coding round and interviews?
Yeah, so like I'll start with telling how many number of rounds there were. So basically, first there was online test or the coding
Hmm.
round, and after that there was one technical round, and
Okay.
after that there was another technical round, and then there was like
Hmm.
managerial round. It's not just like
Okay.
HR related kind of questions. It was like solving a problem in not managerial round. So coming to the OT, there was
Hmm.
one coding question. I don't remember the exact question, but it was of medium difficulty,
Hmm.
and there were 10 MCQs and filling the blanks for
Okay.
ServiceNow.
What topics do
Yes.
you think are important for a software engineer interview rounds?
Yeah, like having knowledge of data structures is a prerequisite, I feel. Not just for ServiceNow, to any company, at least you need to have strong foundation in data structures and algorithm. I'm not saying you need not know all advanced algorithm or
Hmm.
advanced data structures like red, black trees, etc. But you need to have an idea about the basic data structures like
Yeah.
stack, queue, list, tree, and graph.
Hmm.
I think these five and algorithms related to strings, arrays, and
Yeah,
dynamic
that is must.
programming. Like if you know these 8 or 9 things, like you will be able to solve like 90% of or 95% of problems in an interview.
What was asked in your first technical round?
Yeah. Regarding the first technical round, uh,
Hmm.
there was actually just one question in that round, and it was related to stacks. Like, if you want to know the exact question, there is this question called trapping rainwater in LinkedIn.
Hmm. Hmm.
Basically, like, it assumes that there are few walls and
Hmm.
it is raining, and you need to like figure out how much of water is stored between those walls. Like,
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
walls
Hmm.
have different heights. This
Hmm.
can be solved by using a stack.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a question of fairly like medium or easy difficulty.
Hmm.
Like the question itself is easy. I think they focus on your explanation, and also they say like the we need to. It's not just like we just explain the question, right? We need
Hmm.
to type the question in a coding website or platform. I think it was HackerRank. I don't
Okay.
exactly remember
So,
the platform, but
hmm.
after that they run your solution and see if it passes or not.
Okay.
So yeah,
Executable code is expected, right?
yeah. So it is important that you write a code which is executable, and also it's important that you write a code which is understandable for the
Hmm.
interviewer,
Yeah,
because
that
yeah,
is, yeah, that is important. The way we approach to a question and how we analyze it and how we speak out the approach we are proceeding with is what I feel have a very good weightage because it tells that you can communicate well and give your ideas well, right?
yes, yeah. So like one thing you have to do is like what might be clear to you or obvious to
Hmm.
you need not be obvious to the interviewer,
Interviewer,
right? So
yeah.
like sometimes we think like this is fairly obvious, right? I need not explain this, or I need not provide
Hmm.
clarity on this, but then the
Hmm.
interviewer doesn't understand this, that, and he's stuck at that point, but you are going already going below into the code, and so they don't
And
follow up with
even
you.
if he
So
uh, understands, he expects us to explain him, right?
yeah, they want you to explain them. Also, like one important thing is like this is not required, this is my personal opinion, it's always important to write a good code. Good code, like you can
Hmm.
get a solution by any code, but good code is the one which has like meaningful variable names, right? If the variable
Hmm.
names are meaningful, the code is easy to follow, not just for interviewer,
Yeah,
anyone who says they can follow the code
yeah.
easily.
It is self-explanatory, right? And writing comments is also important because it explains what we are
Yes,
doing and it's a best practice, right?
yeah, writing the comments also helps a lot. Yeah, I mean, we don't do
Mm.
it in real life. In applications, we tend to not write comments,
Companies, yeah.
but interview, writing comment helps.
Was there anything else asked to
Yeah,
you
that
in
was the
your
only
first
question
round?
in first round.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
No, this is the only thing they asked, and
Hmm.
like depending on our answer, if they're satisfied, we are selected for next round. And in next round also there was only one question, and
Okay.
this was fairly easy but somewhat tricky to implement. The answer is not difficult. The implementation is somewhat difficult. The question was that they asked me to do a in order or level order traversal of tree,
Okay.
but without using recursion.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
So
might have
like
used
I
stack.
solved that question in the assumption that so if you see any recursion, right, any
Uh-huh.
function,
Hmm.
it works by using a stack trace.
Hmm.
Basically, any function is just a stack, right, at the
Hmm.
end
Hmm.
in the backend implementation. So I took inspiration from that, and even for recursion or anything, instead of using a function, I used a stack,
Hmm.
just a way, just like how a function actually does in the backend.
Hmm.
It was easy in terms of solution, difficult in terms of somewhat, I won't say
Implementation.
difficult, but medium difficult in terms of implementation.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What was your third round about, and
So
what
third
was
round was
asked?
managerial round. It was one of the like best, most fun interview experiences I ever had in any
Okay.
interview for any company.
Okay.
Like first of all, the person who was interviewing me was very chill. Like he
Okay.
was speaking very free and made me very comfortable. And we were discussing about a lot of things, but it was around a problem. So they gave a problem like a real life scenario, which did not have the best solution. They just want you to come up with optimized solution. So the question was that, let's say you have an array of sentences, okay,
Hmm.
like array of sentences.
Hmm.
Like the array is huge, like hundreds and thousands of sentences you have, because this
Okay.
is a real life example. We have in real life also you have thousands of lakhs of sentences, right?
Hmm.
Each
Yeah.
what do we say, each input in an array is one huge sentence.
Hmm.
And you are given one more sentence, okay. I'm given one sentence and I have a array of large number of sentences. Now my aim is to find the sentence in array which is most similar to the given sentence.
Could you explain how the similarities define in this?
Yeah, but yeah, it's not word to word similar.
Okay.
It's context similar. I had to like find or propose a solution for that. So like coming to my solution, like as any over enthusiastic student, my initial answer was like ML. I directly said ML. We will train a machine learning model, or we'll use recurrent neural networks,
Okay.
and we can identify this. But he was very not satisfied with the solution. But the good thing was like usually with managerial
Okay.
rounds they help you guide in one particular direction and see how you can solve that problem, right? So he put a thought into me that like maybe can you try matrix multiplication, is what he said.
Okay.
So then like a bulb lit up in my brain, and I decided that we'll train a model, but this model is not for identifying the similar sentence. We'll have this model for knowing the importance of each word. Let's say there is a sentence called Bharath is a good boy, right? And there is a sentence called Bharath is a bad boy. In both of these sentences, the word Bharath have less weightage. The more weightage for meaning is depending on the word called good and bad, right? They're completely changing the sentence. So highest weightage is for good, let's say 10 weightage, and 3 weightage is for Bharat, 1 weightage is for E, is 0 weightage is for A. Solution was like we can make a weight like this, and then it will become an n cross n matrix of all the sentences. And when we multiply this array, we will also multiply this word that we have, right? The sentence that we have with that one, wherever we get the highest
Yes,
weightage,
answer.
overall weightage, when we multiply with that n cross n matrix, that is the best possible solution.
What do you think was more focused in managerial round? Your
Yeah.
logical thinking, analytical skills?
Yeah, so like one thing is like in managerial round, you're not expected to give a technical answer. They test your mental ability, your problem solving skills, and the way you come up with ideas. Yeah, there were no questions like have you faced any scenario where you were in conflict with someone? Those kind of HR questions, right? They were not there as part of ServiceNow's interview.
But it is always
Yeah.
better to prepare for those questions as well, right? Because in many companies they do ask such questions.
Yeah, so like the person who interviewed me was not a HR,
Yeah.
he was, I think, a manager.
Okay. Ram, if you would like to give the overall experience and difficulty level of your interview process between medium, hard, and easy.
Level of difficulty, if you speak, so I'll say the questions are lead code medium difficulty, but the focus is not just on solving problem, it's on the way you come up with solution and the way you explain the solution.
Okay.
Yeah, because medium difficulty questions are like easy to answer. Sometimes they are obvious, but the way you explain had I felt like it had more weightage.
Were there any puzzles?
No, there were no puzzles.
Okay.
Yeah, no puzzles. Only technical questions.
Okay. Ram, how did you prepare for your interview and did you make any mistakes during your interns? And what were your learnings and all?
Coming to my preparation, initially I did very wrong kind of preparation third year. That I used to focus on very few, yeah, I used to focus on very few topics.
We used to parallelly prepare, right?
Yeah, together. Yeah. So I used to focus on only few topics and assume that all questions will, as they are somewhat difficult topics, like I used to prepare only those topics. So, and like let's say we prepare DP, right? But most of the times we think DP is important, but many times DP did not come. In very few companies, DP questions came.
Yeah.
But we focus more on DP and we were not able to solve.
I think Ram, preparing for array and string before all those topics in a better way helps a lot because mostly the questions plays around these topics only, right?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like DP or graphs, let's say graphs also is like huge topic, right? You need to do graphs after you have at least some level of proficiency in arrays and strings. Like those are the kind of mistakes I made, but I rectified or resolved them in fourth year, so I did better in fourth year. Yeah, and one other huge mistake I did was in lead code or any website, if I knew the solution for some problem, right? I did not used to solve that problem at all.
Yeah, it happens. Also, when we prepare for code chef or any coding competition, we didn't see the solution after the competition, right? The questions which we were not able to solve.
Yeah, so there are two things here, right? One is not saying solution, and another is skipping coding for a solution that you already know. Like there are these questions where even if you know the solution, the implementation is very difficult.
Yeah.
Like it's very hectic. It mentally it stresses you out, right? When those kind of things come in interview directly, because you don't code that much, your coding speed is very low. You can't code very fast, and you will be out of time. Though the question is easy, the implementation is difficult. Like I said, right, the traversal of the tree without using recursion. The solution is easy, implementation is difficult. These kind of things you can do very fast on time only when you are habituated.
I agree.
To be habituated, you need to code, right? So one thing is, see, I can go to GFG, I can see a solution, I can see a question, I can guess the solution. If I don't get the solution, I can just see the solution, right? I can read it, I can leave it. But then it's useless. Like unless you code, it's useless. You need to code the solution that you read about.
Yeah. What was your branch, Ram?
I and Bharath are classmates. So not just classmates, we are benchmates, buddies and everything. We are from same branch. I'm also from ECE.
Then why didn't you go for core companies, hardware profile, and why did you go for software? What motivated you?
Yeah. So I won't give you like false answers like I was inspired by coding or anything. Like one of the biggest reasons I went for coding is I found electronics very boring. It was so unappealing for me, the way it was taught, or like, and also like there is obviously money factor involved, and another reason is like we are introduced to coding in first year,
Hmm.
and in second year we are taught data structures. Like when we learn that, it's somewhat interesting among all the subjects we have in second year, because in ECA we have very difficult subjects in second year,
Yeah,
like we
EDC
had
and all.
DLD or EDC, which are like
Yeah.
too difficult. They were like too difficult for me, and among all the subjects, like coding was something I could enjoy. So
Hmm.
that was also one of the reasons I became interested in coding. And obviously, electronic is difficult, and at least in terms of difficulty, it's more difficult than computer science. And if you also see the number of companies, the opportunities are more in computer science field.
And even the number of software companies come to the campus are way higher than the hardware profile, right? But I strongly believe if you are interested in hardware profile, you should go for it, right?
Yeah, I agree, definitely. I think another reason many more people went for software during our batch was like we were a COVID batch, right? At that point of time, like the number of hardware companies they decreased even
Mhm.
more. Like they're lesser than software, but they become like just 2, 3, 4 during COVID,
Yeah.
because there were like many supply chain disruptions and the companies were already in losses. So this is
Mhm.
also one of the reasons everyone went to software.
How is your work-life balance at ServiceNow?
Yeah, so like work-life balance is, I would say, the best at ServiceNow.
Oh,
It's one of the best thing about our
is it
company.
even better than Oracle?
Yes, I think it definitely is.
Okay.
So it has one of the best work-life balances, and even the team culture and all everything. If we see, it's very good. Like in many
Mhm.
companies, if you talk to people from other business units, right,
Mhm.
and from some other organization,
Mhm.
like let's say I message someone in HR organization, they don't even respond in other companies, but in ServiceNow, like you can take help from anyone. There is that kind of culture where if you ask someone, they will help you irrespective of whether you know them or do not know them. Like many times I reached out to some people who are not even from our country, and they're from different teams, they don't know me, but they
Mhm.
help me in solving problems and all.
Okay,
So
that's really
and
good.
work life balance, like the work is very, I won't say light, very balanced. There is
Hmm.
no pressure, or
No such
I mean
deadlines, right?
there are no, I mean there are release deadlines,
Hmm.
but there are no deadlines like today you have to get this done, by this
Hmm.
much you have to get this done. There is an
Mhm.
understanding that sometimes like you need more time to solve your problem, sometimes you need less time to solve your problem, right?
Mhm.
So only thing they do is they check, they ask about your update in the next stand up. And
Do you have any fun activities?
yeah, we have like a lot of fun activities, like, but mostly my teammates are remote employees, most of my teammates. So we have game Fridays
Hmm.
every Friday,
Hmm.
and we also have like team lunches occasionally. Sometimes it's
Hmm.
virtual, and sometimes we go to like good restaurants in Hyderabad.
Okay. How is the work from
Yeah.
home policy?
And coming to ServiceNow, like it offers you permanent remote persona, or you can choose flexible persona, or if you want to work from office, you can work from office.
Is this specific to your team or the
No,
entire company?
no, it's specific to the whole company.
Recently, we saw layoffs. Did it happen in
Eh,
ServiceNow too? Like in many companies, it happened, right?
So no layoff also happened in ServiceNow. Like from what I was told by higher level people, they won't happen also. Like ServiceNow is one of the few
Oh,
companies that is still growing, that is still making more profit than last time, even during recession. So I don't think
okay.
that, also like they did very balanced hiring, and like other companies you
Hmm.
see, right, they went on to hire
Okay.
aggressively. I think ServiceNow did somewhat like more balanced hiring. So from what I was told, like currently there are no discussions or topics of any
Mhm.
layoffs.
What advice would you give to the freshers who joined ServiceNow?
So my advice is that like try to learn platform before joining if possible, or else like that is fine. Still after you join, there is like 3 months of ramp up, right, where you are provided many courses. Like unlike other companies, you don't have training where you need to attend a live class, etc. You have a virtual
Mhm.
training, so you can just read content and just do those courses. So it's very important that you do your ramp up well with, like, initially, like most people they feel that, like, there's no work, right? Let me just enjoy for 3-4 months. Like, there won't be any work, obviously, and they don't do those courses. They just click on next, and they just, then there's a quiz. You just answer that quiz because it allows any number of attempts, right? So, but you can do that, but it will cause you problems later. So my advice is that it's not just in ServiceNow, in any company. After you join, do the ramp up properly.
What advice would you give for faster promotion as you got promoted to SD2 in just 1.6 year or 1.7?
So, like, if you're being like very simple, you get promotion when you are of value to the company, right? You need to add value to your team. Only then you'll get promoted. So one thing is, like, be an active participant. Not like you can do your task well, but you need to be active in participating in whether design discussions or any other, like, or you can take initiative or responsibility and identify like there's an issue here, and report it to manager and say that I can fix it, right? If you take that kind of initiatives, then you're like, that is somewhat expected. See, you get promoted to next level only when you're already almost working at that level, right? So when you're taking initiative, you're doing a thing which is expected of an SG2 mostly. And when you're contributing somewhat to design, which is expected of SG2, you get promoted to SG2 only when you're acting like an SG2, when you're performing like an SG2 almost.
Okay, thank you, Ram. It was really nice having you here and giving us various crucial points.